All right, so I bet you're probably like everyone else and always looking for a way to boost that credit score.
Yeah, especially when you're thinking about making a big purchase, right?
Exactly, like if you've got your eye on a new house, you're finally ready to get that new car. Well, today we're going to dive deep into a strategy that could help you do just that. We're going to be breaking down some insights from YouTube finance guru John Liang.
Oh yeah, I've seen some of his videos. He's great. Really cuts through the noise and gets to the point.
No, right? No fluff. And in one of his videos called Best Day to Pay Your Credit Card Bill, he drops this little-known trick that could be a total game changer when it comes to maximizing your credit score right when you need it most.
Sounds intriguing.
I'm all ears.
Okay, so before we get into the hack itself, let's quickly recap the basics. Liang breaks down the 5 key components of a credit score.
Right. Usual suspects, payment history, credit utilization, all that good stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But what he really emphasizes is that 2 of these components, on-time payments and credit utilization, make up a whopping 65% of your score. Wow, 65%. That's more than half your score right there.
It is. So, those 2 are super important. But here's where things get interesting. Liang reveals this hack that revolves around your statement closing date. And it all comes down to how credit bureaus actually track your credit utilization.
Most people probably just focus on the due date, right? Pay the bill on time and you're good to go.
Exactly. But here's the catch. The credit bureaus don't actually get an update on your credit utilization every day. They only get that snapshot on your statement closing date, which is usually a few weeks before your actual due date.
Oh, I see. So even if you pay your bill in full by the due date, if you had a high balance right before the statement closed, that's the utilization the credit bureaus will see.
You got it. And to illustrate this, Liang shares this example.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you have a credit card with a $24,000 limit.
Okay, $24,000 limit.
And you end up spending $10,000 of that maybe on some home renovations or something.
Yeah, that's going to push that utilization pretty high.
Right. Your utilization would be over 40%, which definitely isn't ideal, especially if you're about to apply for a loan or something.
Yeah, a mortgage lender seeing that might get a little hesitant.
For sure. And even if you pay off that entire $10,000 by the due date, that high utilization number has already been reported to the credit bureaus.
Ouch. So it's like the damage is already done.
Exactly. And what's even crazier is that Liang actually experienced this firsthand. He saw his own credit score drop by 30 points just because of high utilization.
30 points. Wow. That's a big hit.
Yeah, it's no joke. But the good news is his score bounced right back up once he paid down the balance and got his utilization lower. And that experience is what led him to discover this whole strategy.
So basically he's saying you need to pay down your balance before the statement closing date, not just by the due date.
That's the key. It's all about making sure the credit bureaus see a nice low utilization when they take that snapshot of your creditworthiness.
So it's almost like a little bit of credit score manipulation in a way?
I guess you could say that. But it's really just about being strategic and understanding how the system works.
Right. Using the rules to your advantage.
Yeah.
I like it. But what about people who can't necessarily pay off their balance in full before the statement closes?
Yeah.
Like what if their paycheck doesn't line up perfectly with their billing cycle?
That's a great question, and it's something Liang addresses in his video as well.
Okay, so it sounds like he's got some advice for those folks too.
He does, and we're going to dive into that right after this quick. So Liang actually says that, if you can pay your balance in full by the due date,
yeah,
and you're not, super worried about your credit score fluctuating a little bit, you don't really have to sweat this whole closing date thing.
Gotcha. So it's really more about prioritizing.
Yeah.
If you're not actively trying to boost your score for a specific reason.
Exactly. It's not a big deal. But if you're like, oh man, I'm applying for a mortgage next month.
Right.
Then it becomes a really valuable strategy.
Makes sense. Because, even a small difference in your credit score can save you thousands of dollars over the life of a loan.
Oh, absolutely. It can have a huge impact on your interest rate. And I've heard that a good credit score can even help you get better rates on insurance and stuff.
Oh, yeah. That's true. It's like a domino effect.
Yeah.
A good credit score can open up so many doors.
Totally. And I think that's what makes this whole hack so interesting. It's not just about the number itself.
Right.
It's about what that number can do for you.
It's about taking control of your finances and actually using your knowledge to your advantage.
Exactly. Instead of just accepting whatever credit score you have, you're like, okay, I know how the system works. I can actually make it work for me.
Right. It's pretty empowering when you think about it.
It is. So this whole thing about manipulating your credit utilization, it makes me wonder, how else could someone proactively manage their credit to, improve their overall financial well-being?
Yeah, that's a great question. beyond just getting better loan terms.
Right.
Right.
Like, what about things like, building a strong financial foundation for the future?
Absolutely. It's all connected. The more you understand about your finances and how to manage them, the better off you'll be in the long run.
I think Liang does a great job of, demystifying the whole credit scoring process.
Oh, yeah.
It's not this big, scary secret anymore. It's something you can understand and control.
Exactly. And once you have that knowledge, you can start making smart choices that will benefit you for years to come.
You know what I find so fascinating about this?
What's that?
It's like Liang stumbled upon this hack by accident.
Oh, right, when his score dropped.
Yeah, and it just goes to show you that there are all these little hidden gems of financial knowledge out there just waiting to be discovered.
Absolutely. It's a constant learning process. There's always something new to learn.
Always. So what do you say we give our listeners some practical steps they can take to start using this knowledge?
Sounds like a plan. Let's do it.
Perfect. So where should we start with all this?
Well, I think the first thing you got to do is
Yeah.
grab your credit card statement
Okay.
and look for that statement closing date.
Got it.
It might be buried in the fine print somewhere,
Right.
but once you find it,
Boom.
you've got a powerful piece of information.
Exactly. So then what?
Well, then you can start planning your payments a little more strategically.
Like if I know I'm going to have a big purchase coming up.
Yeah, exactly. If you're going to be putting a big chunk of change on your card, try to pay down as much as you can before that statement closing date rolls around.
So it's like you're giving the credit bureaus a little sneak peek at your best financial self.
Exactly. You're putting your best foot forward.
I like it.
Yeah.
But what about those people who maybe can't always swing paying down their balance early?
Yeah, that's a good point. Not everyone has that flexibility.
Right.
But even if you can't use this specific hack, the important thing is to understand how the system works.
So it's all about knowledge is power.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The more you know about how credit scores are calculated,
Right.
the more control you have over your financial future.
I think that's a great takeaway. It's not just about this one little trick.
Right.
It's about being proactive and taking charge of your finances.
Absolutely. And you know what?
Yeah.
Sometimes even the smallest details.
Yeah. Like the timing of your payments
Yeah.
can make a big difference in the long run.
That's so true. Well, I think that about wraps up our deep dive on credit scores.
Yeah. I think we covered a lot of good ground today.
We did. Thanks for joining us on this journey to financial empowerment. We'll catch you next time.